Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I'm here on tonight, Monday night. I apologize, I'm a few minutes behind. I was having trouble with my setup, but we're here talking about the big full moon. Lots of stuff is happening this really within the next 24 hours. We have the full moon, we have Saturn moving into the astrological sign of Pisces, and then we also have some various planetary transits. So if you're just joining me live, go ahead and like this post and comment below your astrological sign, where you're tuning in from. I love hearing where everybody's tuning in from and what your sign is. If you know your rising sign and your moon, put that in there too. So welcome everybody who's joining tonight. It is Monday, March 6th, 2023, and I'm here live talking about the full moon. I'm here on Facebook, but I'm also co-recording. So if you see me looking up and looking down, that's why I'm looking at two cameras and I am co-recording for YouTube. So welcome. If you are just joining, a bunch of people are coming on. Go ahead and post your astrological sign. I'd love to hear that and where you're tuning in from, what part of the world, because we do have people from all over watching this humble little broadcast that I do. So welcome everybody. Melinda, hello. Williston, Capricorn, Moon in Cancer, and Scorpio rising. Welcome. You're my first brave person to comment. And if you're just joining, go ahead and post below. We have a lot of planetary energy, and I'm going to be breaking it down into segments like I usually do throughout the week. I'm going to go over this week in astrology, but I'm also going to be talking about things that are going to be lasting way longer than just 1 week. In fact, one of these things is going to be happening for almost 2.5 years. So we are going to be talking about that. Now, if you're watching this on the pre-recorded version on YouTube, the cool thing about that is I just learned I taught myself how to timestamp my videos on YouTube. So if you just want to skip ahead to one section or another, you can do that now on YouTube on the timeline, and it'll also be in the show notes. Unfortunately, I can't do that on Facebook, but on YouTube I will be able to. So if you ever want to go back and just watch like one little section, what did she say again about Saturn moving into Pisces or whatever it may be, now you can do that on YouTube. So welcome. Oh, yay, Jen. Oh my goodness. There you are. Capricorn Queen. There you definitely. Naomi, thank you. Tagging your friends. I love that. Kathy, Sagittarius, Kelly, Leo, Wendy, Scorpio. Wow. Scorpio sun, Virgo moons. This is your moon, Wendy. We have the full moon and rising sign. Andrea, hello. Sagittarius, Naomi in Vermont. Kelly, Gemini from New York. Welcome. Kelly in New York. I love that. Awesome. Julia, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Capricorn, rising, Gemini. Very nice. I love how everybody knows their big three is what we call it in astrology: the sun, the moon, and the rising sign. So welcome if you're just joining me live. Okay, so I'm going to get into this week. Now today I'll just go over very briefly on Monday the 6th. This morning we had a lovely transit where the sun formed a sextile with Uranus, and that is good for inspiration and kind of thinking outside the box, thinking about changing something up. Basically that's what the sun sextile Uranus is. Now, sextiles in astrology are positive. Sextiles basically bring opportunity. So if you get an opportunity, it's either today or even from this weekend or even tomorrow, it could be a good thing because sextiles bring opportunity, but the only sort of but with that is that we have to do some action in order to bring it to fruition. So it's like we get the opportunity, but then we have to go and run with it. It's kind of like if somebody offered you to buy a franchise. Yeah, it could be great opportunity, but then you have to put the work in and the elbow grease and all that to make the franchise operable, so or profitable. So that's something that you want to think about if you had anything come. Sextiles in astrology are also considered to be very mild, and we have some more coming next weekend. But but I like them because it's like, yeah, like we don't have to have these like, you knock them in, knock your face off kind of transits. Some of these transits are really powerful. Where sextiles is just a wonderful, gentle, but also can be very good for having opportunity. Yes, Andrea, you are working on a great opportunity. Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. She commented, said my necklace is cute. I appreciate that. I thought the moon would be good to wear during the full moon. Plus it goes with green. I actually like kind of think about the things that I'm saying on my broadcast, and I dress like sort of accordingly. So Virgo moon is definitely, I feel Virgo is very strongly associated with green. And so I wore my green for my Virgo moon. So Sun sextile Uranus happened this morning on March 6th at 8:42 a.m. Eastern time. Earlier than that, if you're out on the West Coast, Sun is in Pisces, and then Uranus is in Taurus. So that was a nice alignment, because if you think about Pisces is water, Taurus is earth, earth needs water. So that's like a very nice alignment between the two of them. And Uranus is not always destructive. I talk about it sometimes because it can be destabilizing and it can be shakeups, but it's not always that way. Sometimes it just knocks us out of our comfort zone, and then brings something that's maybe a little fun or a little adventurous or whatever. Hey, Virgo Rita in Colorado, welcome. So let's get in. So we have that in the background during this full moon. That's the reason why I'm talking about this energy, is that so full moons are endings, completions, wrapping up, finishing something. And like I said, we are going to be having the full moon in Virgo tomorrow on Tuesday, March 7th. The peak or the height of it is 7:40 a.m. Eastern time, so 4:30 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast. And so it is the full moon night, okay? The night that I'm recording and that you guys are watching, it is the full moon night. The peak of it is tomorrow morning, very early. So when you're thinking about when should I burn my new moon manifestation list, when should I release, when should I let it go? Well, you would want to do that during after the apex or the peak of it. So tomorrow, anytime after 7:40 a.m. if you're on the East Coast here, you can burn or destroy your new moon manifestation list. But it is going to be in Virgo. It's 16 degrees Virgo. So if any of you know where Virgo is in your chart, it's kind of like right in the middle of Virgo is 16 degrees Virgo. Now, remember that the sun then is also 16 degrees Pisces, because the sun and the moon are always opposing each other during the full moon. So if you are a Pisces and you were born around now, if now is kind of around your birthday time, you are at ground zero of this particular full moon. 16 degrees Pisces, 16 degrees Virgo moon. So those two, Virgo and Pisces, I really feel like they're like the odd couple from Oscar and Felix, that show back, way back when. One's sort of the neatnik and the type A, and the other one's like the type B and kind of more easygoing and going with the flow. That's the way I feel that Virgo and Pisces can be. We are literally talking about Michael Jackson, who was a Virgo. He was a Virgo sun and a Pisces moon. So he was born during the full moon, and he had that sort of like, that kind of dichotomy within him. He had a lot of like conflicting aspects to him. And so that's basically what this is about. Now, Virgo moon can be a very healing moon. Like I said, green is the color of Virgo, and that's why I always like to wear green when I'm talking about Virgo, or even my posts. Sometimes I pick green posts when I talk about Virgo. It's an earth sign, and very much a sign that's very strongly associated with healing, with it is gut health. When you talk about the body, is gut health, okay? And if you think about all good health comes from the gut. So it's learning to heal your digestion, and it's all that stuff. Now, if your digestion's off a little bit right now, or a little bit wonky, whether it be all the fun things, colitis, constipation, Crohn's disease, gas, all that stuff with the gut. This might be time to look at that. Maybe looking into taking a probiotic or looking into food allergy testing or any kind of thing about healing the gut. It is said in astrology that some of the best doctors and healers are Virgos, or they have strong Virgo in their chart. A lot of my Virgo clients are very into like herbal healing and, plant medicine and all kinds of things like that. Because when you think of Virgo, you think of earth, you think of grounding, you think of forestry, you think of moss on rocks, and you think of leaves starting to fall because Virgo is a transitional season, which means it's what? It's a mutable sign. That's right. If you're thinking in your head, oh, she must be talking about a mutable sign. That's the time of year that Virgo is around. It's transitioning from summer into fall. And so, so the leaves are starting to change and all that kind of time of year is Virgo. So basically what we started back during last Virgo season in September of last year, now we're bringing to fruition and we're carrying that, gauntlet to the finish line kind of thing. And so we want to think about finishing up, wrapping up something. Where's Virgo in your chart? Well, that'll tell you even more, drilling down specifically for you. But if you are a Virgo, or again, if you're a Pisces, you're at ground zero of this. You'll be feeling this very strongly if you're another earth sign. So Taurus or Capricorn definitely for sure would be feeling this energy too. And if you're another water sign, aside from Pisces, so Cancer and Scorpio, you guys would be, also feeling this as well. So earth and water are definitely highlighted now. This challenges fire a little bit, challenges air a little bit. So if we're, feeling that, we're being called and asked to ground ourselves. If you think of this earthy energy, it's grounding ourselves. So good stones to have during this particular full moon, or if you want to connect more to this beautiful sort of green energy, fluorite, which is definitely more of a grounding energy. Now, it is ironic that Virgo tends to be, again, like I told you, is like this grounded, earthy sign, except for, remember, it's ruled by Mercury. It's an earth sign that's ruled by Mercury. So it still has that sort of hyperactive, sometimes anxiety, sometimes neurotic sort of tendency to it. Two signs share Mercury as the ruling planet. One would be Gemini and the other would be Virgo. So Geminis might even feel this too. Or if you're a combo deal, if you're a Gemini and a Virgo, that would be a lot too. So fluorite is a really beautiful green healing stone. I love fluorite, and fluorite tends to does protect us from EMFs, and it is said to be good to use fluorite if you're in front of computer screens a lot, or cell phones or any kind of thing like that. But it does have that sort of grounding sort of energy, and also adventurine. Now, if you want good luck and good fortune, this is a really good stone to have. Adventurine is how you say it. And if you can see, there's actually just a tiny, tiny bit of sparkle to aventurine. I love this stone. This is one of my favorites. And connecting to the heart, the heart chakra is definitely a good thing. Another stone, which is very good for Virgo, or if you want to, again, harness some of this earthy, balanced, more grounded energy, is tiger's eye. So if you are a Virgo, you should have all of these stones in your healing kit, in your home healing kit. I was teased the other day, but maybe not so much teasing. I think it was Wendy that said, "Hey Wendy, Aquarius." By the way, Aquarius also really benefit from fluorite too. I think this is a really good. Kelly, oh my gosh, your daughter's a double Pisces and your son's a double Virgo. That's interesting, Kelly, because I have another client that has a lot of all doubles living in her house too. That means you're all born during the new moon, and you're all new moon babies. So that's kind of fun. But somebody, I think it was Kelly or Wendy, I'm sorry, that was teasing me. I have my own crystal shop. I do sell some jewelry, Opulenza jewelry, but it was kind of funny when I was a kid. if you got to know me really well, if you were really in the inner Gretchen circle, I may or may not show you my rock collection. When I was little, that was like my thing. And I always collected rocks and stones, and people would sometimes started to notice and they started giving me them. So definitely it's one of those things. I've collected them, Wendy, my whole life. And people know, so they give me stones and crystals and things. And so for sure, I definitely have jewelry as well, but I also have just raw rocks sitting all around my house. And I happen to love, we learned in 8th grade science, all things have energy. We learned that in 8th grade. So, and that's probably old, like kids nowadays probably learn that when they're in 3rd grade, but yeah, all things have energy. And for me, I feel like it's almost like earthing. It's like grounding ourselves. We're grounding into, this beautiful energy. So anyway, Tiger's Eye is another good one because Virgo can tend towards this nervous anxiety, mercurial sort of way. So again, this brown, this is actually tiger iron because it does have some hematite threads through it, but it is has majority of his tiger's eye. So that's a very good grounding stone. But whatever your jam is, it's a good idea to remember to ground ourselves during the full moon, especially in Virgo, because again, it's a Gemini ruled full moon. So, yes, all the things apply, the cell phones and busyness and, texting, calling, emailing, all that kind of stuff is very mercurial. And that is definitely going to be active during this particular full moon. Also, remember that the archangel that rules over Virgo is Metatron. And Metatron is wonderful if you find yourself being a little Mercury frazzled and anxious or nervous. Metatron is sort of the archangel that can help us with time and time management. So definitely, like if you're running late or any kind of thing like that, or if you need more time to get done a deadline or something like that, Archangel Metatron is a wonderful one to pray to and meditate towards. I love that particular archangel. I have definitely used that archangel services a lot because sometimes if I run behind or something, I'll call upon Metatron to help and to get the job done. So Virgo, now there is a downside to Virgo. There's a downside to every single astrological sign. We have the light, and then we have the shadow side. And so the shadow side of Virgo, I do call Virgo the quality control officer of the zodiac, because it is almost like Virgo's job to go into a room and say, what's wrong? This is not working right. All kinds of things. And so the number one thing with Virgo can be criticism. So we really want to watch not only criticizing others, but really criticizing ourselves, because I know from my practices and just from people, Virgos in my life, Virgos are hard on themselves, like hard. And then they're very hard on others, but geez, they're very hard on themselves. So it's about not, think about the full moon is letting go, releasing, purging, getting rid of, or having just the peak of this experience, whatever this experience in life is going to be for you. It's the peak of it. And so maybe we would want to let go of guilt, of being critical of ourselves, let go of the self, kind of flagellation that we can sometimes do, beating ourselves up, letting go of that perfectionism that we so strongly associate Virgo with. It's about being perfect. Everything's perfect. No, it's not. It's not going to be perfect. Life is messy, 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 and it's very sometimes disorganized. And, we could learn a little bit from Pisces that wants to go with the flow a little bit more. Now, Pisces sometimes goes with the flow too much, and that's Pisces has to learn Virgo's lesson, and Virgo has to learn Pisces' lesson. So see, these two are here to help us, and we are getting pulled in each direction right now because it's the full moon. So that's something. Kelly said they're both rising sign. Gotcha. Sorry, trying to read here, read the comment, and also doing the cameras and everything else. Wendy said learning to let go of what what do I want to be when I grow up? Yes, just be like, that's Pisces, right? Just be. Kelly, yeah, welcome to my house. Yeah, because you have that tug of war, that pull, because you have the double Pisces and the double Virgo in your home. See, so water, which is Pisces, needs a container. Water needs boundaries, and Virgo sometimes needs to learn to be a little bit more flexible. Even though it's a mutable sign, it can be sometimes less flexible than Pisces. I've noticed that. And so it's something that it's learning to soothe ourselves and calm ourselves. What do you want to let go of? Because this is the time of the month now. Tomorrow, during the full moon, is now the time of the month where we start to release things. We start to let things go, and we're shedding. So that's like the shedding phase between the full moon and the new moon. The next new moon is going to be coming also on Tuesday, March 21st. Boy, I like to give you guys heads up here. On the 19th, it's very busy. March 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's going to be Mercury is going to go into Aries on the 19th. The 20th is going to be the spring equinox, and the sun moves into the astrological sign of Aries, and then Aries season starts. And then we have the new moon right away in Aries. Now, I just want to give you the heads up. Again, that's coming on March 21st. And the peak of it is going to be 1:23 p.m. The new moon in Aries is one of the most powerful new moons of the entire year, okay? Because Aries is about starting fresh and new. The new moon is starting fresh and new. And then the full moon in Aries is double fresh and double new. So if you think about planting seeds, if you have something really big on your plate that you're like, oh, I don't know when to start, I'm not sure. That's the time to go for it. Again, it's going to be on Tuesday, March 21st at 1:23 p.m. Eastern time. And that'll be a wonderful new moon. The most powerful full moon, you might ask? Well, aside from super moons, is the moon in Scorpio, because that literally is the sign of releasing and letting go. So if you think about full moons and releasing and letting go, that's the most powerful time. And that always happens during Taurus season, because remember, the sun and the moon are always opposite of each other. And that's the most powerful full moon. So we have really big energies this month. Like I said, I mean, I could just do broadcast after broadcast about this month, and I have the feeling I'm going to be doing that. So releasing and letting go, and that's what you want to think about. So burn or destroy your new moon manifestation list, and now we're about to let go of something. It can be anything. It can be clutter. It can be letting go of debt. It can be letting go of excess weight. It can be letting go of health issues. It can be letting go of toxic relationships and people that bother us. It can be letting go of negative sort of emotions that we're having and feeling. Like maybe we carry with us a sense of, guilt or perfectionism or whatever it is. See, this Virgo moon is very much about perfection. Everything has to be kind of perfect, or I have to do a million things. Virgos are the workaholics of the zodiac. Well, you're just also a human too. So it's about letting go of that type of stuff, too. So it's not just things. Don't just think about it as things, but think about it as emotional baggage too. You can let that stuff go too. And it's a choice. And I do feel that doing some kind of a fire ceremony, meaning safely, of course, in your backyard if you can, or on your patio or deck or wherever, that you can burn, I have an old stock pot that I use, and I burn stuff in that, that's what I use. It's not even anything fancy. You could get something at a thrift store, but it's fireproof, right? And I can let go of that. So I burn things because I really feel like we don't have enough ceremony in our American sort of culture that we have. We don't have enough ceremony. And sometimes when we do a ceremony and release something and we watch it, the flames kind of gobble it up and just watch the embers sort of drift off into the night. It's something that we can go, it's like a cleansing by fire, right? So I don't know. I think it's something that could be good, and is good for us to practice. So once a month we burn our list. And look, if you are watching this broadcast after the fact and you're like, oh no, I missed it. Well, the second chance full moon, which is what I call the last quarter lunar cycle, which is in between the full moon and the new moon, that comes next Tuesday night. They're all Tuesdays this month, on the 14th. So if you missed the full moon day, and I always say you can do it within 12 hours or 24 hours for the most benefit and the most impact. But look, I'd rather have you do it than get too caught up on the perfectionism and then not do it. A lot of Virgos, oh boy, they tend to procrastinate because of perfectionism. Like, if I can't do it and it's not perfect, I'm not going to do it at all, or whatever. And what they're not realizing is that 80% of success is just showing up, and so sometimes just letting go of that perfectionism. Andrea said, great, letting go of the list. And Melinda said, love a heads up. Thank you. Oh, Lori, thank you. Appreciate you, she said. And so, yeah, so if you are looking to release, let go, and get rid of that energy, whatever thing it is that's plaguing you, even if it's a toxic, sort of habit or behavior, whatever it is, this is the time to release at the full moon. Now, the next piece of big news, and I'm talking big headline, double, triple headline. I started to break the ice last week. I did a really longer segment on it. I think it was like 25 minutes long or something last week. So if you want to go back and watch that, if you want to cheat a little bit and skip all the other stuff, go back on my YouTube channel, click on the video, and if you drop down into the show notes, it'll say Saturn into Pisces. You can click on that. I'm going to do part B tonight, but you don't need to watch part A in order to listen to part B. You can go back and listen because I'm going to review some of the stuff. But Saturn is moving into Pisces tomorrow also. So this is this big full moon, and Saturn in Aquarius, we're down to like the last 12 hours of it. Okay, so it's going to be starting at 8:35 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, and this is the new Saturn cycle. Oh my goodness. So we are going to be Saturn in Pisces now, and that is going to be active between March 7th 2023 all the way into May 24th of 2025. So for 2 years now, we're going to have Saturn in Pisces. And the last time we had Saturn in Pisces was 1993 to 1996. So mid 90s was the last time we saw this, okay, happen. And so Saturn in Pisces is a big thing. Now, it only happens once every roughly 29-30 years. So the last time before that was 1964 to 67, and the last time before that was 1935 to 1938. Now, if you were born during any of those times, this means that you are also going to be experiencing your Saturn return. So you would need to know for sure if Saturn is in Pisces in your chart. But basically that's what this is. And so you will be going through your Saturn return. So if it was, we go through 2 to 3 Saturn returns in a lifetime, 29, and then around the age of 59, and then around the age, I always say for lucky, 89. So 2 to 3 times within a lifetime, we go through the Saturn return in Pisces. Now, if you have any planets at all in Pisces, Saturn is going to go over them at some point during the next 2 years. Saturn's going to start going, kind of making its way through. So if you have a planet, Saturn's going to go over that planet. So, or if you are a Virgo, Saturn is going to oppose your planets, which is almost what I'm talking about with this full moon, Pisces, Virgo stuff, because Virgo is opposite of Pisces. So you're going to have Saturn then opposing planets that you may have in Virgo. So this is going to be a big thing. So Kelly on the broadcast that has Virgos and Pisces living in the same house, you're going to be feeling this Saturn kind of aspect is going to be aspecting both of these kiddos. So I did go over a lot of what, last time we talked about Pisces, Saturn and Pisces wanting to kind of test us. Now, I always say that Saturn, I'm just reaching down here to grab my cards. Saturn is our responsibility. Saturn is what are we supposed to be doing right now? Saturn is goal setting. Saturn is tests. When we talked about Virgo, kind of walking into a room sometimes and seeing what's wrong, well, Saturn can be like that too. Saturn's here to sort of give us kind of figure out what do we need to work on, what do we need to fix, what do we need to improve, really, is Saturn kind of likes to do that. And so this is I have my Linda Goodman star cards. This is this artist rendition of what Saturn looks like. I'm trying to get it here on both cameras if you're watching on YouTube. And so Saturn in Pisces basically is going to be about goal setting and dreams and all that. Now, this is like the last stop on the road, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It doesn't go any further. It goes into Aries, which starts then the whole fresh new 12 cycle. Okay. There's 12 signs. Pisces is the last sign. And so basically we're here to sort of stop and assess and go, oh man, it's kind of like the world card, in tarot deck. It's kind of like we're here, we're completing things, we're wrapping everything up. Man, that was a long 30 years. We've been doing that cycle for 30 years and now we're kind of wrapping it up. And we're sort of looking in the rearview mirror going, wow, I've been through a lot of, stuff. And so Saturn in Pisces is about praying, reflecting, really going through our subconscious, our unconscious selves, and sort of I always call it like looking through the closet to see what can I kind of give up or purge or get rid of? We sort of talked about this full moon kind of being like that, but Saturn and Pisces can be like that, especially if you have Aries rising sign, because literally Saturn will be going through your 12th house, and that's the last house of the zodiac. And so in the chart, and it depends on what house Saturn is transiting through for you in order to know how that will affect you on a personal level. I have my moon in Pisces, and I know at some point Saturn's going to go over my moon in Pisces. So if you have any Pisces in your planets, but it doesn't matter, even because everybody has Pisces in their chart. Everybody has at least all 12 of the signs in their chart. It just depends if you have planets there or not. But one of the big things, we talked a lot about how it could affect oceans and oil last week. We talked a lot about last week how Pisces is all about boundaries, 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 boundaries. Did I say boundaries? Really, Pisces is the sign of, it's a water sign. So if you think about the ocean, right, that's Pisces. And if literally, if there wasn't a container for the water, what would happen? I mean, it would be like a hot mess, right? It would be a puddle on the floor. So with a container, think about boundaries as a healthy container for the water of Pisces, And so we need to have that. We need to have that container. We need to learn how to say no. We need to have boundaries. We need to stick up for ourselves, because one of the sort of negative or shadow sides of Pisces is escapism. It's like, remember, it's the two fishes that are swimming in opposite direction. That's Pisces. And so where does one end? Where does one begin? It's kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? And so with Saturn and Pisces, it's basically saying that we need to look within, to have those boundaries, to have and it's all connecting to feelings. Pisces is a feeling sign. So if you think about our feelings really guide us. And I'm always shocked, but in my personal astrology sessions, I do a lot with feelings. I talk to people about their feelings, about their intuition. Well, it's about dropping below the ears and getting into the body and feeling, how does the body feel when we make this decision? I always say you're kind of looking for two feelings here. Is it a ping, like, that's nice. Or is it a clunk? Like just clunking down. If it's a clunking feeling, that's a no. If it's a ping feeling, that's a yes. And if you're like, well, I don't know how I feel, then that's probably still a no. If it's not an F yes, then it's a hell no. I mean, that's kind of the way it is. It should really knock our socks off and blow us away, you know? And sometimes, yes, we have to say yes because of obligation or duty or something, but we need to get away from that. We need to really sink in more to how we feel, and it's dropping below the ears. People don't realize, but really the definition of feelings is feelings are thoughts that are experienced in the physical body. So how do I know I'm sad? Yeah, I think I'm sad. Well, no, that's not sadness. Being sad is, how do I know I'm sad? I'm crying. I feel horrible. I have a pit in my stomach and I just feel yucky. That's sadness. Okay? That's how I know I'm sad. How do I know I'm happy? Little tickly feeling, right? There's little tickles. That's happy. Oh, I giggled. My face made this smile and I got little lines in my eyes. That's happiness. And so that's how we know our feelings. So I'll often ask people like, how do you feel about this? And they'll tell me everything they think, how they think about something. No, it's how do you feel in your body? And so a lot of people don't know how to feel in their body. It might seem like, oh, Gretchen, that's common sense. But guess what? If you were told as a boy or a girl, don't cry. Don't you cry when you're little, or don't feel that way, or ignoring your feelings. A lot of people were told to ignore their feelings. Remember, how we grew up, there was no Google. There was no, just now we have parents that have Google and self-help books and therapy that you can talk about. Oh yeah, what'd you do today? I saw my therapist. How are you? It's not a big deal. But back then, parents, and it doesn't matter what your age is, even in the 80s, really back then, there was not, this sort of being able to talk about mental health at all. And so our feelings, this is that Piscean energy. Saturn's going to want to put a container to that feeling and name it and all that kind of stuff. Melinda said, great explanation of thoughts versus feelings. Yeah, exactly. It's our body feelings. So does the body lean in and go, oh, that feels good. Oh yeah, I'm interested, curious. I'd like to know more about that. Or does it just feel like, wah, wah. That feeling internally, that's your guidance system. And most of us, especially if you were physically or sexually molested or abused in any way, shape, or form, you had to learn to cut off your feelings, your physicality. You had to learn how to disassociate from those things. So this Pisces Saturn stuff is sinking. We're going into the super deep end with the high diving board. That's where we're going for this, because that's the feelings. And it's learning to use, that's what we can also call intuition, because we learned, a lot of us did, even if you weren't physically or sexually exploited or abused, a lot of us were taught, don't cry or don't laugh in class or don't do these things. It's like we're always learning how to shut off our feelings. So now we have to go into the deep end and we have to learn about our feelings and learn to trust, because our feelings are definitely related to our intuition and to our gut. We even have a name for it, right? We call it a gut feeling. Well, why is that? Because we tend to feel, oh yeah, this feels good. This is good. I feel positive. Or it doesn't feel good. And that we have to learn how to trust that. It's a body sensation. It's not up here. I always know when people are too caught up in their head, because they'll tell me all about how they think about something. I'll give you an example. Even when I used to sell real estate, back in the day, I used to sell real estate, and I'd say, what do you think of this house? What's the deal? How do you like it? Not like, and they'll go, well, and they'll start it's all in their head. And I'm like, no, you have to feel the house. You're the soul of the house. So you have to feel the house. And then they go, oh yeah, well, actually it feels comfortable. That's what you're looking for. Same with relationships, same with friendships, same with jobs, all those types of things. Now, I will say this, obviously we have to do certain things sometimes, like go to work or whatever, that we don't super love. It's not like a positive, like, oh, tickly feeling, it's like, oh, I gotta go to work, that's normal. But this is just about learning how to feel those things. And Saturn in Pisces is going to test us. Now, what were you doing back in the mid-90s, 1993 to 1996, specifically January 28th, 94 to April 7th, 96. That was the peak of it. What were you doing back then? And then if you think back in that time of your life, you'll know how this will specifically affect you and how getting in touch with feelings. Now, Pisces can be depression and grief. I mean, that's the shadow side of Pisces. And the other part of shadow side is, for sure, is escapism with Pisces. I know that my Pisces, they will just disappear. They just disappear. Now, it can be even through drugs and alcohol, and that can be a problem for this next upcoming chunk of time between now and 2025, where addictions, alcoholism. In fact, in the 1930s, when Saturn was in Pisces, canned beer was invented. Okay, put beer in a can. That was invented in the 1930s. That was when Saturn in Pisces was that was a Saturn in Pisces thing. Canned beer. So anyway, Kelly said you had your heart broken. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm gonna push you a little bit on that, Kelly, because she said in the 90s I had my heart broken. Okay. Did you listen to your intuition in that relationship? Were you listening to the wise guy inside? Were you listening to the inner wisdom? Were you listening to those things, in your life and in your body? Were you listening? Is that, why did you get the heart broken, right? I mean, was this person not really maybe a good match for you? Like, there might have been something you weren't listening to, and that's Saturn in Pisces. It's not just about the grief of the heartbreak, but it's also sometimes when we don't listen to our intuition, we can get really tested in this cycle. So yeah, we're leaning in. Yeah, you had no idea because you were 22, but that's part of what I'm talking about here. Now we have wisdom, now we gain knowledge, now we have evolution, now we have growth. And you might have said, gee, that person was not the right match for me. Maybe there was a red flag city and we were ignoring that, because that unfortunately can be a Pisces thing. And so were you listening to your body at that time? Were you listening to your intuition? What was your intuition telling you? Because I remember in my 20s, I had intuition. I was definitely a wild child, but I still had my intuition, but I wasn't. What I didn't do then, which I do now, is I didn't listen as much or trust myself. That's the biggest thing when I teach class. When I used to teach classes before COVID, that was the biggest thing, is learning to trust yourself and learning to trust your intuition and your wise guy inside, because that will always tell you. You'll get the body feel, and if you get the feeling of the wah, not good feeling, or the clunk or gross stuff feeling, then that's your answer. Now, another wonderful thing that Saturn in Pisces tends to produce, which I'm very, very excited about. And I remember I had a part A. So when you're done this, if you want to watch part A on YouTube, just go under my last videos and I did part A. But this is something that's very big. Some of you have written about it in the comments, but this was the big thing with Saturn in Pisces. It's almost always a new musical movement. Big music associated with Saturn and Pisces cycles. Okay, so if we think about the 1930s, in that time frame, in fact, those were some of the biggest, like, sort of peak times for Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday. Okay, we know those names still, and yet they were performing in that time frame of, they were getting their start really in that time frame of the 1935 to 1938. Big band and swing was very in fashion at that time. Benny Goodman, Duke Ellington. Okay, again, some of these, you may know these names. Big band and swing. And in fact, that's where even Frank Sinatra got his sort of start, and then broke off and became a singer, the singer Frank Sinatra, in the 40s. But he got his start in front of those big bands and playing that. So that was a very big movement in that time frame in the 1930s. Now, gosh, here we go with the 60s. I mean, I only need to say one word at about the whole 64 to 67. It was the Beatles. I mean, it was the British invasion. It was definitely like Beatles. It was all their big hits. And really, that was a huge musical movement. I mean, before that, it wasn't, happening, but you got the Beatles. Oh my God, that was huge. So that happened in the 60s, plus many other artists. Now in the 90s, we even had big musical movement going on. We had the grunge scene with like bands like Nirvana and different, this is when they were peaking. Definitely hip hop. And actually techno started like becoming really a thing in the 1990s, in that mid 90s kind of thing. So we had a lot of musical movement, hip hop probably being the biggest, but the grunge scene was very big. One sad sort of casualty of that time was Kurt Cobain. And unfortunately he died in 1994. He was a Pisces, and he was going into his Saturn return that was also in Pisces. He had Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn in Pisces. That's 4 planets. He did have a lot of documented drug and alcohol use, ADHD, mental health sort of problems. And Saturn, as soon as Saturn went over his Sun, that's when he unfortunately passed away, took his life. At least that's the theory. I've seen people say it was a conspiracy. I don't know, but whatever about that. But unfortunately, that was a casualty of that time, and that was his first Saturn return. So Saturn can test us. Saturn is a tester. If I could sit down and talk to Kurt Cobain today, I'd say, buddy, I know it seems long, but it's only going to last 2 years, and then you're going to come out of it a totally different person. And so basically it's something that big musical movements are associated with Pisces. Pisces is associated with the arts and definitely music, poetry, and all kinds of things. Michelangelo was a Pisces, double Pisces, one of the greatest artists probably in the world. And so that's something that sorry, I'm making noise here. My selenite decided to jump ship and land in my plant sitting next to me, so I apologize. And so I'm looking forward to that aspect of Saturn and Pisces, the musical movement, and I don't know what musical movement there's going to be, but I'm very excited about that aspect of Saturn and Pisces, and really the feelings and the intuition. I think that that's something that's so important. If anybody has any questions about that, when I talked about feelings and intuition, people were commenting. Oh my goodness, Melinda, you said you moved 4 kids across country with an ex, a very long drive during that time. Yeah, I'm sure you were feeling all kinds of feelings being in the car with, all those people. That's a lot. 4 kids, 2 adults, that's 6 people. Geez, Rita said, yes, it was awesome. Probably referring to the 60s. Yeah, that time frame, very, and again, really powerful musical expressions, which is a wonderful thing. So if anybody has any questions, please comment below, because I definitely am curious. But this is a big new thing. Saturn is our life lesson. It's something that both that we have natally And we have the transiting Saturn. So we have like two perspectives of life lesson here. Saturn in Pisces is our life lesson. This is really the big tester. This is the big thing. And I'm going to continue to talk about Saturn in Pisces because it's always when it's new, it's a big thing because it's like we're shifting gears, and all of a sudden we're going from Saturn in Aquarius, which was all about AI, the metaverse, technology, Zoom, all those different things. That was very scientific, and it was very, a little bit looking at that. And now we're going into this Saturn in Pisces. So I hope that helps. And I should also say one quick thing about Pisces. Pisces in the body is associated with feet and also the lymphatic system. Feet and the lymphatic system. So it can be any kind of swelling, drainage, all that kind of, moist wetness, water in the body. That's basically associated with Pisces. It's kind of gross. Mucus is a very Pisces thing. And all the fluid of the body, basically. I'm sorry to say that. That's kind of gross, but that's what it is. And so feet, be very careful, mindful, feet take a lot of beating there, they support all of our body weight in our feet. And so it's very, very important to be mindful of good foot health. This is the time to make sure that you exercise your feet, that you are kind to your feet, that you have good shoes, good soles, all those things. I know people that have Pisces on the 6th house of health in their chart, and they often have chronic foot problems. So that can be a Pisces thing. And the lymphatic system. Now, very briefly, I'm not a doctor, but however, I do know a lot about medicine, and the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So we need to sort of either do dry brushing or even doing the new thing, which is jumping on a trampoline. I know jumping on a trampoline is not new, but I can't remember what they call it, but there's a new name. They rebranded it. There's a new name for it. But moving the body, in other words, making sure you drink enough water, all of that stuff is very Piscean. Oh, Anna, that's beautiful. Your dad is a Pisces, born in 64. Yay. And so if he's born in 64, he might even have his Saturn in Pisces. His birthday is in 2 days. He's a musical genius, lost his dad last year. Rebounding. Thank you, Anna. That's exactly the word I just had a moment there where I forgot. I actually have one of those trampolines in my house. I have my moon in Pisces, and it's very good. Rebounding is very good for moving the lymphatic system, and dry brushing and all those things. You always brush up toward your heart. So I hope that helps. But if you have anything with swelling or, any kind of thing with your feet, this could be a time of a tester. You may need to see a doctor, a medical specialist, whatever. So, I love that, Anna, so is your dad still here, and then you lost your grandfather? Is that what the deal is? Your dad's still with us though? Yeah. So anyway, we are going to be dealing with Saturn and Pisces between March 7th, 2023, all the way to May 24th, 2025. And then it'll be in the final, what I call the final pop quiz, which is September 1st of 2025 until February 13th of 2026. So between now and 2026, we'll get a brief time between May and August of 2025 where Pisces goes into Aries for just a minute and then comes back out, because that'll be the next cycle after this is over in 2026. We'll see Saturn in Aries. But first, Saturn will be going through Pisces through this time, and nothing to be afraid of. These things are not to be fear, it's not a fear factor. It's more about having awareness, being prepared, and knowing where the life lesson is, instead of like reaching out in the dark. I don't know where I am. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in Saturn and Pisces. This is exactly where I know where I am, and so I feel like that helps. Okay, so I'm gonna now talk about the rest of the week. the rest of the week's kind of quiet. Now, again, we have a lot of things going on with the full moon and Saturn in Pisces, which both ironically happen tomorrow in the morning. We have the full moon in Virgo, and then we have Saturn going into Pisces. But on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's just moon transits. Now, I say just moon transits. Their moon transits are very short in duration. Now, they can be like a pinpoint, you know, I mean, like it's like a concentrated boop, but then they kind of lift, and it's not like these long, huge, long things. It can just be a little, you know. Naomi said, thank goodness, because it's been a little nutty. Yeah, exactly. Holly said, Pisces is in the 6th house. You've broken ankles and you broke your foot twice. Yeah, see, that's the deal. Aquarius is ankles. I broke my ankle in Saturn and Aquarius, in not this year, but in 2021 when Saturn first went into Aquarius. I broke my ankle. So, and it was interesting because when I went in for my x-ray to confirm, all these people were sitting there with ankles. It was all ankles in the emergency room, which I was like, oh my gosh, here's Saturn in Aquarius right here. So now Saturn's in Pisces. So hopefully, Holly, you'll be going into your health cycle. So just be careful there with your feet, and also with your lymphatic system. And then in general, because you remember Saturn's a general kind of thing. So is Saturn going to be on our back as far as working hard for 2.5 years? Saturn's always our life lesson and always kind of on our back. But it's more of this esoteric, spiritual feelings, intuition, water, music, creativity, all that kind of stuff. Now, you work in a creative field, so this can be helpful, but it can also be something that makes you extra busy. So you might have to hire extra help or get, you know, somebody to, because you're going to be, I told you, you need to expand. You were thinking contracting, but I think expansion. Okay, so it gets busy again on the weekend for sure. On the 11th, Saturday, Venus is going to form a sextile with Mars on Saturday, and then Mercury forms a sextile with Uranus. So just like we had the Sun forming a sextile with Uranus today, Mercury is going to form a sextile with Uranus on Saturday. Mercury is in Pisces, and Uranus is in Taurus. And then we have Venus forming a sextile with Mars, and that is going to be something that we're going to be feeling in our love life. So it'll be very interesting. We're going to have our love life activated. We're going to have some inspiration. This could be a very flirty weekend. I'll just say that there's some love vibes in the air, and and flirtation in the air for sure. We have Venus is still in Aries, and then Mars is in the very last degrees of Gemini, and those two are flirting with each other. I don't know. I mean, I think this could be a little spicy, a little fun. I hope that helps. And then we have daylight savings time coming on the 12th. And the spring ahead, I don't like that particular daylight savings time. That one I have a little hard time adjusting to for sure. Yes, Holly said, can Uranus bring unexpected things? Yes, of course. That's what I just said. Unexpected surprises, something out of nowhere, spicy, be open. In other words, it could be fun. So I hope that helps. So if anybody has any questions for me, I am going to pull one collective card just to see what the energy and the vibe is. But I want to do any questions that you guys may have for me. And don't be shy. Speak up. I know that there's a lot of people watching the broadcast, and it's always usually the same people that ask questions. But I don't mind answering questions. So what do you guys need to know? You're so funny, Kelly. Will this guy ask me out? Ugh. I don't know. I'm not getting... It's okay. It's okay. I don't know about this. I do think do think Kelly, he may ask, but right after it, I get like, you know, I had a guy do this to me recently, actually. Asked me out. I said yes. And then he was like, okay, I'll call you. And then I never heard. So it was like a fake ask out. It was really weird. Whatever. Sometimes people just want to, like, I think have like an ego boost or something. Like if I ask, well, I don't know. It was like almost like he couldn't seal the deal. He couldn't like say, well, I have a reservation at this restaurant and da 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 da. So I don't know. I kind of feel, Kelly, you got to call me for a session. She's asked me about Cancer energy or Aries. She's got multiples. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, post below, because I'm only going to do cards just for a little bit and then I'm hopping off because we are at the end of the broadcast here. I don't know. I just feel like whoever the one that's heavier set feels like they have like just a little tummy. Doesn't feel I'm just saying as compared to the other, feels like they have like a more of like a tummy. Kelly, that's kind of the man that I feel around you. That's closer, I think, in some way. All right. We don't need no men, Julia said. Oh, we do. We love our men. We love them. Okay. Let's see. Julia, is it? Okay. Ashley, will you be able to publish your book this year? Let me see. Will you be able to publish your book? What is Ashley? Woo! Got energy around that one. What do you need to know about publishing? I actually do think so. I'm getting something in September or October. You're getting vision board. So obviously this is a huge, huge goal for you. Create a vision board with images and words that inspire you. So in other words, it's not that I feel like you don't want it. That's not what I'm feeling, but I feel like you need something to, how do I say this? Like inspire you. I feel like you need to have like that, like hanging up on the wall or something. That's what it feels like. Kelly said, huh? Okay, that. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. All right. So Ashley, I would definitely do that. Yeah. Organize and inspire. You might even want to like, you know, like hang up Post-it notes or something like where maybe you have different chapters or different thought bubbles, like thought ideas or something with your book, Ashley. But I feel like that could be. Kelly said, oh, that makes sense. Sorry. Okay. All right, good. Thank you, dear. Thank you, there. All right. Sylvia, I'm going to pull a card for you. Ashley said she wants a chubby man. Well, if there's any chubby men out there, Ashley's your girl. There you go. How come men, I don't ever hear men say that. I want a chubby lady. It just usually. All right. So Sylvia, will your chaos come to a close soon? Sylvia, it feels like you've been in this, and I'm seeing a visual of an astrological chart, which means to me you're in one of those planetary cycles that it takes a while to go through. Because I do feel like it's been a while. I'm getting number 5, which might mean 5 years that it's been going on. But I just feel like as if, Sylvia, you've had a lot of stuff. And I am also going to say there's something about a car. I don't know. I'm getting car energy with you. So hopefully that's in the past and not in the future. But I'm seeing car stuff. So Sylvia, for some reason, there's a car situation. All right. So what does Sylvia need to know? Listen, you got to stay true to yourself. Remember what I was just saying about Saturn and Pisces? Following your feelings, following your intuition, following your guidance, the wise guy inside, the inner guidance. Don't compromise or water down your ideas. Listen to, trust, and follow your inner voice. I just feel like sometimes there's like some people pleasing here, or you're doing things to help, like maybe do things for other people and not yourself. And I feel like that's where a lot of the chaos comes in. I do think it is you're at the sort of end of this kind of, it's not like it's all daisies, unicorns, and rainbows. Because if you have an underlying thing where you're not listening to yourself, then that's going to continue on, you see, because you're the one that's, you know, making those decisions. But I do think there's been a lot of outside stuff too. I'm not saying it's just you, but please hear me that you need to work better on your boundaries and listening to yourself. Sylvia, I do think it is going to, yes, you got to leave a situation. It could be a job. It could be a breakup. It could be, you got to leave something behind. This is the breakup card. You got to leave something behind for things to resolve in the way that they're supposed to. I'm sorry to say. I hope that makes sense, Sylvia. I don't know if you're still on, but yeah. All right. Oh, Ashley said the men I talk to do. Oh, nice. That will, hey, good. Yay. I'm trying to read here. Let's see here. Anna, I'm going to pull 2 more cards quickly, but then I'm going to also get to the end of the broadcast. Sylvia said it sure does. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it will come together, but you got to kind of leave something behind first. Okay. Anna, pull a card for you as a budding artist. I love that. I don't know if it's Etsy. I don't know. Like, it's interesting. I had gotten a similar card one time, similar feeling around one of the viewers before. It feels like you need to get like set up, situated. I feel like, in other words, there needs to be structure around this business. Okay. And so, oh, Melinda, oh my gosh, your oldest daughter has COVID again. If you could put her first name in the chat and we can all send her lots and lots of prayers, love, Reiki healing. If there's any Reiki people watching for Melinda's oldest daughter, she's going to put her name, just first name. You don't have to put the last name, just first name, so that we can give her lots of healing energies. She said she has COVID again. Oh God, that's awful. All right. So Ashley, you need to become more like you need that healthy container. What I was talking about with Saturn, you need that healthy container, and you might need to have this is called grace under pressure, which means like this, you're very talented and this business is going to go well, but I want you to not be stressed out too. So it's almost like you need to maybe have something just to take like a side job, or some kind of like have some other income just to take some of that pressure off of your shoulders, because otherwise if you get too stressed out, I feel like it won't take off in the way that you need it to. I hope that helps, Ashley. Okay, so there was so many people here. Holly, should you sell your house? I don't know. Do you want to sell your house? That's really the question. It's saying you can, and this is how I feel about it too. It's funny. This is the cards, and it's like take it or leave it. You could or may not. It's saying you can if you want to. This is like a positive. This is Magician. This is a positive affirmation card of like you can if you want to do that, or you could just choose not to. It's kind of like this card says the ball is completely in your court. It's like you don't have to. You're not pushed up against the wall where you have to get out of there and flee the country or something. It's just kind of like, if you want to, you can. If not, you don't have to. Like it's just, and so that goes down to free will, free choice, and also listening to the wise guy inside. What does the wise guy inside and say? If I say stay in your house, does it go ping or is it clunk? Or if I say move, is it ping or is it clunk? So I would say, look, either way, it says it'll work out. Whatever you choose to do, if you choose to stay, it's fine. It's just like gonna keep going on as long as it goes on. And then if not, then you can go. But that's a nice card. It's one of the best cards in the deck, is because it's kind of like no matter what you want to do, it's gonna work. Yes and yes. So that's good. I hope that helps. You're welcome, Holly. All right, I'm going to pull one card for the energies that we need to know about this full moon, Saturn in Pisces. Oh my goodness, this whole Saturn in Pisces thing. What do we need to know? And if you guys wouldn't mind, go over to my YouTube channel. I have a really big goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers in 2023. That is my goal, and it is a big goal. I get all kinds of fun perks and different things on YouTube if I hit 1,000 subscribers. It's so important to me. So if you guys can subscribe to my channel over there. Plus, the cool thing is you're going to get notifications when I post videos, and I'm not always going to do lives. I have other videos that I post. I'm going to post over there. Ashley said she subscribed last week. Yay, Ashley. Thank you so much. I did have a big jump in viewers last week, so that was good. And also I'm time stamping too, which is so much fun. So what do we need to know about this particular full moon coming in Virgo? We need to let go of the perfectionism. What do we need to know about Saturn in Pisces? We need a healthy container for our hopes, our thoughts, our dreams, our feelings, most of all, and our intuition. That would be a very good time, by the way, if any of you are thinking about having a career in an intuitive field. That would be great for Saturn and Pisces. What do we need to know about all this energy to get through the week? Okay. Big. Deserving. You have to remember that you deserve love, happiness, wealth, all the stuff. You, like all of God's children, deserve happiness, health, and love. You are the trust fund baby of the universe. You deserve, just by being here, just by choosing to incarnate, just by being here in 2023 and welcoming and stepping up to the plate and going, wow, we're going to be doing this Saturn and Pisces together. And wow, we have all this beautiful stuff. That's what this is that we deserve love, health, money, wealth, love and love and love and love and love and all the good stuff, all the positive experiences of life. That's what we deserve. Why? Because we're just here. You don't need a reason. We're just here. We chose to incarnate. So it's wonderful. Thank you, everybody. You guys are all commenting on my hair. Thank you very much. And so I hope that helps for this week. Remember that you deserve all of your hopes and dreams and aspirations and everything you want that you deserve. Okay. All right, everybody. Happy full moon. Remember to burn your list tomorrow. Lots of love to everybody. I'm here every Monday night around 8 p.m. or so. It seems like a lot of people like 8 p.m. If you like 8 p.m. or 7:30 p.m., if you have a preference, post below. I'd love to hear that. And take care. Namaste. Mwah. Great to see everybody. Bye.